Think on good.
Hello and welcome to Think on Good. This is the program about the programs and resources available for a healthy mind. Coming up, post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, impacts the lives around us with debilitating symptoms. According to the most recent study of health and well-being, around 11% of Australians experience PTSD in their life, and with women almost twice as likely to develop the illness than men. This condition, while not exclusive to frontline professionals, is often experienced for those attending to trauma events as part of their careers, including ambulance, fire, police and defence servicemen and women. While there are many avenues to help manage PTSD, today we look at the part of the faithful dog with co-founder of PTSD Dogs Australia, Roger Weeks, joining us now. Hello, Roger. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here.
So, Roger, how did you get involved with PTSD Dogs Australia?
It's a bit of a story. I was diagnosed quite a few years ago now with PTSD, and my psychiatrist suggested to me that I might benefit from an assistance dog. So we set about trying to find an assistance dog for me, and that was 4 years we spent going from door to door, and most organisations that we came across, their books were closed. They just cannot keep up with the demand. So it was looking like I was never going to get a dog. But my wife and I have always had dogs, and my uncle was a trainer, and my wife is also a trainer. So we decided that rather than just be part of the problem, let's be part of the solution.
Every idea like that is great, right? So it would have been a big transition for you to go from looking for a dog and then training them.
Yeah, it was huge. We probably wouldn't have done it if we knew what we were getting ourselves into.
Tell us about the process of the dogs getting trained. How does that work?
Okay, we're a bit different to most organisations. Most organisations doing assistance dogs have their own breeding programs, but we reckon there's enough dogs out there now, and the pounds and kennels are full of dogs that have fallen through the cracks somehow. So we look for really good dogs in those rescues. We assess them to make sure they're going to be fine, and then we train them up as assistance dogs.
And so what are the things that you train them? How do they help a person with PTSD?
There's no one answer to that. Each dog is trained specifically for their handler. We call them handlers. Everyone is different. Everyone has different needs. Most of the guys that we're working with, being ex-military, have got busted up bodies to go with their busted up minds. So a lot of the tasks that we train for are things like retrieval work. I've got two metal rods in my back and an artificial knee, so mobility is not the best of things for me.
So they actually help with things like if you're having an event, like an episode, or something triggers you, or if you're having a nightmare?
Yeah, definitely nightmares. That's a common one. So the dogs are trained that if you start showing signs of a nightmare activity, then they'll jump up on the bed, and if they're not already there, and nuzzle you and wake you up and just comfort you and say that everything's okay, Dad, or Mum, whatever it may be. The PTSD never stands alone. There's always something comorbid with PTSD. In my case, one of the things I have is a thing called dissociative seizures, which to the untrained eye, well, to any bystander, looks like an epileptic fit, but it is absolutely nothing to do with epilepsy. But it's a dissociative seizure, and Rosie can pick that up before it actually happens, and she'll just come and sit in front of me and demand attention. So I know that there's something going on, and if I'm standing up, I'll sit down because I'm going to fall down if I don't.
So Rosie picks up that you're about to have a seizure, or you're about to have a trigger episode. How does that work out with the dog? What does she actually do in that moment?
It's all based on chemicals within the body. Like you would have heard of cortisol levels and things. The dogs are trained to pick up on those changes in our chemistry. I've also got heart issues, and of course that has a chemical response in the body, and Rosie picks up on that.
That's amazing. How does a person acquire a dog? If there's somebody watching right now and they know that they need help, what's the process? How can they approach you to become a dog owner?
Yeah, the first thing is just make contact through our website. We've got an application form on the website, and someone will be in touch and go through it with them. When we first started the charity, being ex-military, our focus was on military and first responders. First responders, a lot of people didn't understand why we were going outside of military and going into first responders. But that also comes from my background. I was a photographer in the Air Force, and I used to work alongside of the police, fire and ambulance on a lot of the unpleasant jobs. So, yeah, we developed a good relationship that way.
The day in the life for you then compared to now, what are the big differences?
Wow. Back then, when I was doing it, it was just a job. We did what we did. I can always remember when we were doing our training, they told us that, hey, you're going to be in these situations where you're going to see some pretty unpleasant things and it might get to you. But our training was that if it starts to get to you, move out of everyone's way, throw up, get it out of your system and get back to work. And that's what we did. So, yeah, very different back then to what it is now. Now, of course, they have counselling a lot of the time. The people go out to those situations and they come back and they get debriefed and counselled. We didn't have any of that. So,
it's different now, isn't it? There's a little bit more awareness. But what would you say to those people who have served and that may be watching this or listening to this and have been living with symptoms for many years and don't quite know how to address it, where to start, feel overwhelmed?
Yeah, the big thing is just talk. I was 25 years before I was diagnosed, after I got out of the Air Force, 25 years before I was diagnosed. But there were signs. Other people could see that there was something wrong, but I just kept it to myself. That's what we did. We were always taught big boys don't cry and all that sort of thing. And it's not just crying. I was withdrawn. I was angry. Some of the signs that I had were difficulty with employment. I'd always be arguing with my bosses, telling them what to do. My marriage broke down. Yeah, there was just lots of little things that, in hindsight, I can see was this PTSD. But because I didn't talk to anyone about the problems I was having, it was undiagnosed. I found out later that my doctors were putting on their reports, suspect PTSD, but no one ever said anything. It wasn't until the story of how I was diagnosed was my wife and I went on a holiday to New Guinea, and part of that tour we went to Rabaul, and in the museum I came across, there was a pile of wreckage from an aircraft, and I just froze, standing there looking at this wreckage, and I just started sweating. My hands were trembling, and I had this overwhelming feeling come over me, and I just had to get out of there. My wife found me 20 minutes later, just wandering around in a daze outside, and I couldn't even explain to her what had happened. Then when we got back to Australia, I was 2 weeks. I had not slept in 2 weeks. So I went to the doctor, and he just said, hey, there's something wrong here. You're going to a psychiatrist. And that's when I got diagnosed. So, yeah, not talking to people about what was going on within me just kept that hidden. And I lost a lot of friends because one of the things that people with PTSD tend to do is we withdraw from society. We'd make plans. I made it say, oh, come around for a barbecue next weekend. Yeah, no worries, we'll be there. What do we bring? And then Thursday, Friday, I don't really feel like going. I'll cancel out. And the friends wouldn't suspect anything because something came up, you cancelled out. But it was all just, I don't want to be social.
Yeah. And now, how is it for you now with going out with the dogs to social events?
Yeah, much different now. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now without a dog. The difference the dog makes is just wonderful. We had one fellow, he was always so angry, his kids wouldn't go near him because he was just an angry ant all the time. He wouldn't cuddle them or hug his wife or anything. But once he got a dog, the dog taught him that it's okay to do these things, to get close. And he now cuddles his girls, and they love going out with him. They've gone from not wanting to be near him to wanting to spend more time with him. So, yeah, it's really changed the whole family's life.
Okay, and so your message to first responders who are experiencing these symptoms?
Talk to someone, yeah. Even just talk to your mates. Hopefully the mates will steer them in the right direction. But the main thing is to start talking. If you bottle it up, it's just going to get to you. It doesn't go away. It just builds up and builds up until finally it hits the emergency valve and blows up.
Before you go, I just wanted to ask you, what's your inspirational quote or favourite saying?
I guess it would have to be, in my darkest hour, I reached for a hand and found a paw.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you. PTSD Dogs Australia is a charity program based on the Sunshine Coast, Queensland, training rescue dogs to be companions to assist veterans and first responders or those exposed to trauma events. Post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD symptoms may vary, and it is best to consult with a medical professional about diagnosis. However, some of the symptoms can include being on constant alert, angry outbursts, sleeplessness, avoiding social activity or public places, and unwanted thoughts and at times nightmares. To help the work that PTSD Dogs Australia is providing, go to the website to donate or register to volunteer. For additional PTSD information and support, go to the Open Arms website or phone 1800 011 046. Think on Good is a program offering information for mind health and is not intended to replace medical treatment, professional advice or diagnosis. If you or someone you know is experiencing mental health symptoms, for immediate support, contact Lifeline on 13 11 14. Think on Good is brought to you with thanks to our sponsors and contributors. Until next time, we hope you enjoy your day.
Think on good.